It is time for the daily edition of Litter Media Live with the icon, Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday morning.
Wednesday, hump day.
That it is.
That was a good commercial.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. Today happens to be McDonald's Meet the Manager Day. Your chance to go in, meet with the manager, interview for a job. It's open interview time, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock today. Happens every Wednesday.
I may need to do that. You're going to fire me today.
All you got to do is go to one of the local McDonald's in Circleville, in Greenfield, in Waverly, and 4 locations we have here in Chillicothe, which is where I had breakfast today.
Uh-huh.
So you still have a little iced tea here from McDonald's. And they even made sure I got my strawberry and cream pie.
But you asked for it, right?
Available for a limited time. I did ask for it, yes.
Years ago, this was when Barry Daly was the manager downtown. Mm-hmm. When I would walk in, they would start ordering without me even opening my mouth because I get the same thing all the time.
And he still does.
Still does,
It's amazing. And it's even funnier when he goes to order something that he thought was on the menu and it's discontinued.
Oh, no.
It's like the end of the world.
Yeah,
So,
I break down and cry. Yeah.
It's a very somber moment. Not too somber is the weather. It looks good.
Looks nice.
And when I say that, I don't mean, it's torrential weather, but it's good weather. I like it.
Yeah, sunny skies expected today with a high up around the mid-70s. Some are even saying 77. Partly sunny, even warmer tomorrow with a high of 82. Clouds and 74 Friday. I saw one forecast that said maybe some rain moving in Friday evening and then rain again on Saturday. I thought I heard Columbus talking about the chance of snow flurries Saturday north of I-70.
Yeah.
It's like, is this still mid-April?
It's springtime in Ohio.
Yeah, love it.
Sometimes it's...
I'm loving it.
Oh, that's right. We forgot to do that. McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm loving it, yeah.
I forgot to give you that segment.
Yeah, right.
We got involved with Mike's disappointment.
Yeah.
So. All right. Coming up, we'll take a look at the news topics of the day and sports coming up, along with this date in history and maybe some radio bit we'll share with you as well. All just ahead here on Litter Media Live. But first, these fine words from our sponsor.
This is Big Chillicothe. Horizon's 100% fiber internet service is coming to your area. Call 740-772-8331 or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe to sign up today.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
In the words of the late Paul Harvey, time now for news.
And I'm going to throw it right back at you because just about an hour ago or so, it's actually 2, you were talking to this guy, Jonathan Davis.
And I have to apologize. I didn't have his microphone on. I thought I had the right microphone on. So what we had to do was we had to delete the interview, but we managed to salvage the interview, and is now available on our YouTube channel, which you can find. Just go to YouTube, and Jonathan talks about all the great things going on at Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center, reviews the visit from Lieutenant Governor Houston, and not only that, but we talked about various things that maybe you didn't know about the CTC. And all our Facebook viewers heard was the unimportant thing, my questioning. But you can hear that in its entirety now on our YouTube channel.
But the funny thing is, I was watching closed caption and I was seeing Jonathan's responses. That's why I didn't think there was anything wrong.
Mike was reading his words, but we couldn't hear. So.
I chuckled there when you said something about positive news because we were on the phone with a mayor of a community here nearby.
Yeah.
And what do you want to talk about? And we said just the positive things in the community. And it was like it stunned him that we wanted to talk about something positive.
After a pregnant pause, he was along the lines of, boy, I really appreciate that because just not enough people do that anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what we try to do anyway. Speaking of some positive news, congratulations to Bill Hoover. He is the new superintendent. He has been the interim superintendent for the last few months, but Bill was hired last night during a special Board of Education meeting. He's been with the district since 1993. Some might remember he was the basketball coach at one time, but he now
is part of the staff for the Final Four run.
Yes, yes, but now he is the real deal, hired last night, and he takes those duties immediately. And now the position that he had before becoming superintendent, director of operations, that search for a new person there will begin immediately, according to Waverly City Schools.
And he is, and I'm going to tell you this, a Tays Valley graduate. So
Yeah.
another TV kid done well.
But he's been at Waverly so long, it's kind of like,
Kind of like people think I went to Chillicothe.
Exactly, yeah. That's where you end up, I guess. Mm-hmm. Another interview that you had yesterday, the People Who Care, you had Aaron Alsop of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and also Aaron Givens of Paper City Mentoring.
Yes, and they had an opportunity to talk about this People Who Care Ross County initiative. This is a nationwide project, and we learned about how it's going to be involved here in this area.
To help any person succeed. So whether it's kids or teenagers, or if we're being honest, even adults, we all need people in our corner.
Right.
So that to us is what mentoring is just supporting other people. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what this People Who Care initiative will be doing for Ross County. So that's why we both came together to do that. And it's an opportunity for anyone in our community to come learn about the initiative, but also network and get to know other people within our own community and understand and learn more about the resources and nonprofits in Chillicothe, and then help give back to them so that they can continue doing the work that they are already doing and help them not only continue, but also to better what they are doing.
So what is going to happen is on May 4th, they will have an opportunity for people to come to the Naz Vineyard and Winery and hear from presenters that will talk about their nonprofit organizations. They'll do this twice a year in May and in November, and they will have 3 nonprofits make a presentation, and somebody's going to receive a $10,000 grant from that.
Wow.
So if you're a nonprofit, that is very huge for you. Mm-hmm. So if you want to learn more, you can see the entire video on our Facebook page in the video section, but it's also available on our YouTube channel as well.
Very good. Also in news, the Portsmouth Paducah Project has been awarded the prestigious DOE Project Management Award of Excellence. Each year, the department recognizes projects that have demonstrated excellence in the project management discipline. And again, this goes to those working down at the plant. Of course, it's called Portsmouth, but it's actually closer to Piketon in Pike County. Ross Soil and Water Conservation District announcing the final days to place an order for their annual fish sale. Last day to order is April the 24th. Residents can shop online at Ross County SWCD, that's Soil Water Conservation District.org, or contact the district office for an order form.
And don't be surprised if you hear back from Bob Neal.
Yeah, the real Bob Neal. Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the Revolution will host Tea with Martha Washington, April the 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church in Chillicothe. Now, you need to RSVP today, and you can do that by contacting Teresa Reep. Give her a call if you've got Teresa's number, or you can go to her email at Reep, R-E-E-P, Teresa at yahoo.com.
I think there's 2 R's in Teresa.
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
2 R's and 2 S's. Yes, sir. The Red Cross has set their May blood drive dates for Ross, Highland, and Fayette counties. And again, this is for the month of May. 5 drives are set in Ross County, 4 in Highland, and 1 in Fayette County.
Before we get to your road report, don't forget tonight is the Spring Speakers Series featuring General Grant. He'll be in Chillicothe tonight.
Dr. Curtis Fields Jr. from Memphis is the fellow that, and if you've ever seen pictures of a young General Grant, he's a very good likeness.
Here a while back, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer than that, there was another portrayal of Frederick Douglass. And I had been working late at the radio station. I was driving home, and I come by in front of the Ross County Heritage Museum. Out walking to his car was Frederick Douglass. Wow. And I thought, I'm looking at history right in front of me. This is incredible. Yeah. And had I not known about the speaker series, I would have really been shocked.
I remember the time that Abraham Lincoln came out to the Ross County Fair and sat down at the picnic table and talked to me. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
very nice. So again, that is tonight. Starts at 7:30 this evening. And something that you mentioned earlier, just want to throw this out, a reminder about Friday is a fish fry from the Chillicothe Evening Lions Club. That will be taking place down in the Lions Shelter on Inderland Circle inside Yaktangi Park, where they always have it year after year. And this is also Cavalier Club Invitational Weekend. I don't know if they're going to be having fish at the Cavalier Club like they used to. So I'll have to find out from my Cavalier contacts.
If you like fish, you got to go down there because these folks do it upright. Road report from ODOT, which again, you can find these on our website at littermedia.com. Work is set, in fact, is underway, got underway this past Monday for a resurfacing project on portions of US 50 and State Route 73 in Pike County, actually. Work will occur daily from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. 1 lane of traffic maintained throughout the construction using flaggers, and they anticipate, I say Pike County, that's not right. That's over in Fayette County. They think that this project will be wrapped up sometime this summer. Now, remember, we're still in spring, so we've got a few months to go. And that is a look at the topics for today.
All right. Coming up, a look at sports. We've got a new head football coach in the area. We'll share details on that for you. This is that time of the year where a lot of changing is going on.
And we're still waiting on Zane Trace to name their new coach.
That's right.
That could be any day. So
yes. So look at me, Mike. I am truly sitting on the edge of my seat.
You really are.
I really am. So waiting for that information. So Trevor Thomas, if you know something, let us know.
Yeah.
So, all right, coming up, we'll look at sports and this date in history. But first, let's take a moment to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They are always on target for your needs. They have been ever since they started. That's why you have the Target in there. But they also have, and now if you go in their front office, and I don't have it in front of me to share with you, but they have Target spelled out, and there is a word under every letter so that you know what Target means to them. If you want to find out, you'll note that they are your trusted comfort advisor. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It will take you right to their website. And, of course, up in this post, we have hyperlinks for all of those sponsors we have that have Facebook pages. That will take you right to their Facebook page to learn yet even more from Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Up ahead, we'll take a look at sports next.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Time to jump into the world of sports. And what do you have first for us, Michael?
High school football. Medina High School is a new head coach, and Doug Miller. Doug comes to the Warriors after being an assistant at Alderson Broaddus University and a former head coach at Lancaster Fisher Catholic, where he was the 2018 Mid-State League Coach of the Year. He's also been an assistant at Tays Valley and coached semi-pro ball. He's a graduate of the Citadel and was a United States military officer between 1983 and 1990. Now, the irony, of course, this picture of Coach Miller is when he was named the head or assistant coach at Alderson Broaddus.
He looks really serious.
The head coach that he worked under there was Travis Everhart.
Who was at Uniota?
No, he was a graduate of Adena High School.
Ah.
Now, he may have been an assistant
I
at
was thinking he
Uniota,
was an assistant.
but he was a player where Coach Miller is now going to coach. So we wish him well. Mm-hmm. Uniota baseball run-ruled the Chillicothe Cavaliers in non-conference play last night, 13-3. Tonight, the Cavs traveled to FAC leader Washington Courthouse, while the Tanks host Adena in a big baseball matchup, but probably even bigger in softball because those two schools, Adena and Uniota, are tied for the league.
And the Cavaliers will be happy not to face Tanner Lee Master.
Yeah, because last night Tanner fired a no-hitter over their arch rival, Miami Trace, in a 14-0 win. One of the top softball teams, along with Uniota and Adena that we mentioned earlier, is Wheelersburg. They just keep motoring along. Last night, 14-0. Now, remember, this is the defending state champs in Division III, and a lot of those girls return for this year's club. And going to the big time.
Nick Lodolo was not on his best game last night. Yeah, I tuned in when it was the second inning, and he just needed to get an out. And he got two. He couldn't get the third. Next thing you know, boom, 3-run homer. That makes it 4-0. And David Bell just said, "You know what, young man, you're going to ride this out."
Stick with it.
And he made the fans ride it out too.
Now, probably this was not a good news story, but if you want to talk about Hunter Green, they gave him a contract extension.
Yeah, 6-year contract. Mm-hmm. Only $50 million. That tells me he's not going to be around for 6 years, because if they end up having to pay him like $200 million, he'll be trade value to someone else.
Yeah,
because that's how it's been in Cincinnati for how many years now?
Yeah, but he's had a rough start this year, and right now he's injured.
Yeah, he took a line drive off the shin, and that's what ended his day early. Mm-hmm. Was it Saturday?
It was last outing. Yeah,
it was Sunday.
Yeah.
And so yeah. But today, it's Ashcraft going at it tonight.
Yeah. Is this a 3 or 4 game series?
I believe it's 3.
3?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay again, 15-3. That's one of the better records, if not the best record in the bigs.
I shall double check just to make sure.
While you're doing that, the Guardians had a rough day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Lost a day-night doubleheader. Of course, the first game, that was a makeup from a rainout the night before. But doing the trick was the Tigers in both games. 1-0 was the nightcap. They lost, I believe it was 4-3 in the other game. And coming up in the NBA tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, actually last night, yeah. 107-90 over the Knicks. That evens that series at 1 apiece, and Game 3 will be on Friday night. So the Cavs and Knicks all even up at 1 apiece. I think the Celtics took a 2-0 lead in their series. The Lakers got beat last night. Yay! So there you go. I saw Steve Ragland the other day out of the gymnasium.
Yeah.
And one day he has a Laker sweat top on. Yeah. Yesterday he had a Cleveland Cavaliers. So I have a feeling this has something to do with where LeBron James has been.
Quite possibly.
Next time I see him, you'll probably say Miami Heat. So.
Tell Steve I said hi. I haven't seen Steve for a long time. The Reds and Tampa Bay wrap things up today. It's an afternoon game.
Okay.
And they will open up a 4-game set with the Pirates tomorrow.
How you do? At home?
Tomorrow? Yeah, no.
Seems like
that's in Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah. It's almost like just over there.
How long does it take to get to Pittsburgh? It's like 2.5 hours from here.
Drove there. Well, I didn't drive. I was riding in the back seat to see the Bruins and the Penguins play hockey back in the 1970s. It seemed like it was about a 3+ hour drive, 3.5.
I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've been by, the road sign that takes you to Pittsburgh, but I've never actually been to Pittsburgh. But I know that the Chillicothe Paints, when they played in the Frontier League, the Washington Ball Club was just outside of Pittsburgh. So a lot of those folks would go over there from Chillicothe. I think it was like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive.
Actually, I storied. I have driven over there twice when Sarah was playing club ball, and I think it's closer to 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember coming out of that big tunnel when you go out.
And then there's the city.
Yeah, when you're ready
I've
to go
heard
over
that,
the Andy Warhol was from Pittsburgh.
Really?
And there's a museum there. When we discovered it, it was a Sunday afternoon. I think it was closed for some reason during the early spring. But Sarah was a big Andy Warhol fan. But we didn't get to go to the museum. Sorry, honey. I'll make it up to you for lunch today.
Was she disappointed?
Well, she was kind of tired after finishing up the weekend tournament. So
Let's go, Dad. I just want to sleep in the car on the way home. You're driving. and that's good because your daughter trusts your driving that she would sleep while you drive.
my wife does that a lot too, sleeping while I drive.
Yeah.
I just don't want her sleeping while she's driving.
Well, and during our radio days, I used to sleep while I drove. It was amazing. The car seemed to know how to find its way home.
Yeah, exactly. Scary.
I'm joking. All right, coming up in just a moment, a look at this date in history. The Litter Media Wayback Machine goes into the year
1897.
All right, so that is coming up. All right.
Theme.
First, let's get you caught up to date on what's happening with our friends at Scioto Valley Dumpsters. When it comes to cleanup jobs, if you need a dumpster, give Scioto Valley Dumpsters a call. 740-253-8389. Don't be fooled by anybody else. Get a dumpster from Scioto Valley Dumpsters. You'll reach Carl. He'll say, "Where are you?" I'll come get you. Drop it off. And then, of course, when you fill it up, you'll haul it all away. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. This date in history. Next.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
Before we jump into this date in history, I did hear back from Newt Bonner from Chillicothe City Schools. He says, to the best of my knowledge, the Cavalier Club is doing just their normal concessions for the invite, which is this Friday.
Gotcha. Earlier this week, the Boston Marathon was held.
Correct.
But it was on this date in 1897 that the first Boston Marathon was held. John McDermott of New York won the first Boston Marathon with a time of 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 10 seconds. The marathon was the brainchild of Boston Athletic Association member and inaugural U.S. Olympic team manager John Graham, who was inspired by the marathon at the first Olympic Games in Athens in 1896. Well, technically, it probably should have been worded modern games because the first marathon goes back to way back.
BC, right?
The guy that ran to deliver the message, I think he was either running from or to Marathon. That was a place. And after he delivered the message, he died. Dropped over dead. So.
And he wasn't saying the British are coming. The British are coming.
No, not at all.
No.
I can't imagine anybody running 26.2 miles. But, yeah, the first Boston Marathon was actually 25.4 miles, not 26.2. But they still referred to it as a marathon. But
I've been to Marathon Island.
Is that right?
I've been to Marathon gas stations.
I've been to a lot of them, yeah. But of all the marathons, I'd say the Boston Marathon is probably one of the more famous ones.
Yeah. Matt Paxton was just in it the other day. Matt, of course, has been a long-time marathoner. You go to a track and field coach, and can't remember his time that he had, but he said it turned out to be an okay time.
And Matt's a runner, so that's... Pete Holland was running some marathons and half marathons. I don't think he was in Boston that I'm aware of.
Of course, this week we've got the Buck 50, which will begin on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. The first of the runners will take off there. You're going to be out to a rally today at Adena High School, and Dave Huggins will be there. The kids are going to be helping to set things up at the Majestic Theater tomorrow morning, so I'll stop by there, see if we can catch up with Dave and get an interview with him as well, and have something for the show here. I came across another event, which is coming up soon. Let me see if I can find the I'm trying to remember the name of it off the top of my head, and it's not working. It is the Big Deal in Great Seal. This is going to be, there's, I think, a 25K and a 50K, and they've got the track laid out already. It's all taking place inside Great Seal Park, and you talk about elevation and the whole, these people are nuts. I mean, it's one thing to run a 150-mile relay race for the Buck 50. Well, these folks are dedicated to running 50K, so you're looking at, what, 2 marathons in a loop over a hill, coming back and forth in the trail. Who knows what the weather's going to be like? That's going to be taking place the first weekend in May. Chris Stengel, who is a Chillicothe native, is organizing this, and he's down in Tampa, Florida. He'll be in town tomorrow. We're going to do a special interview with him tomorrow afternoon if you want to learn more about the Big Deal in Great Seal. So looking forward to that.
Rhymes.
I like it.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And Great Seal Park is part of the Buck 50, and that's why he's going to be here this week, because he's going to participate in the Buck 50 also.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's all tomorrow. All right, so radio.
Tastiest meal you ever had while working in radio? Not in the time frame, but
on the air?
On a gig. Oh. You were at a gig, either at a remote or somebody brought you something in the studio, or you were covering a ball game. Best meal you ever had?
I can remember the worst better than I can the best.
Well, we won't mention that.
The worst, I'm going to start with the worst. The worst was in the 1990s. This would be at Hilliard Darby High School. The hot dogs were green.
Ooh.
I don't know if they were soy-based, what?
Or bad.
Brian Wickline was there with me, and we looked at it, and I said, I took a bite out and it was green. And I'm like, I'm so hungry, I'm going to keep going.
They weren't celebrating St. Patty's Day or anything like that.
I don't think so, yeah. But there was a green tint to those hot dogs. I'd never seen something like that before. I remember as a kid, my Aunt Margie down in Virginia Beach had these hot dogs that were real deep red-looking color. They weren't like Big Red Smokies. Nothing. They were just regular wieners, and they were red, and they weren't hot or anything like that. And that was the only other hot dog I'd seen, not the regular flesh tone colored hot dog that we normally are used to. But man, that green hot dog was, I can't say it was tasty.
No. I can't remember her name, but she was an intern, and she cooked for us. She came in and
Allison
cooked.
Porniak.
That was fantastic.
That was the day that I missed out on the quiche.
Oh, man, was that good.
I missed it.
I mean, of all the food that was ever bought for us, brought in to us by others, which we all appreciated, by the way, but she came in and she cooked for us, and that was fantastic.
Rob Odell, who does
Accomplished
afternoon
chef,
news,
yeah.
the radio station, he trained as a chef, and he brought in some nice desserts and things. Yeah, I mean, they looked fantastic, and I'm like, man, how did you? And he just decided he didn't like it, I guess, and went into radio.
Yeah.
And however, probably one of the best brought to us, made for us, that I moved the world to make this happen for you moments was Chillicothe was playing at Ironton. And whenever we would go to Ironton, we would stop in at Malini's Cucina, which is an Italian restaurant.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
And Pat Hyland told me when we went there for the first time, he says, this is the closest thing that I've tasted since being in Italy.
Wow.
It was that good.
How about that?
And so our buddy down at Jason Filial, voice of the Ironton Tigers, award-winning voice of the Ironton Tigers, he brought from Malini's Cucina chicken parmesan for me in a little carry-out tin, set it down in front of me there at Ironton High School before the Cavalier game. I got to have my chicken parmesan.
The late Pete Dunkel used to bring us stuff at Zane Trace. I mean, he would make things.
Yeah.
He would make vegetable soup. I think he made some kind of a stew one time. Now, there was a couple other times he brought us Schmitz from Columbus, and I think somebody did. It was either him or somebody else out there brought us Olive Garden. And here we're trying to get set up, and this stuff is fantastic, and you're trying to eat it and get set up, and it's like, what do I do first?
I got to hand it to Mike and Tom because during their days of broadcasting, when they showed up, it was back when Monday Night Football was something. They were representative of the Monday Night Football crew arriving. When we would go to Cavalier, I had people ask me, well, don't they do this for you at Cavalier games? I'm like, no, are you kidding? They don't bring you cookies and all this kind of stuff. One time that I remember, and that was when Nate Garris had transferred from Unioto to Chillicothe, and Bonnie Garris brought us a bunch of cupcakes. That was the first time I remember having anything brought to us as a Cavalier broadcast.
Well, you know the problem. When you're doing the same team over and over and over,
people get used to you.
They get used to you. But when you're going to different sites, they're begging for your coverage, and it's like they were bribing us, I think.
Precisely.
It worked.
What has been kind of cool over the last 6 years, and I've missed doing play-by-play, and I know you've got the opportunity to do that again, but the number of people who say, man, we miss you guys. You know,
But we don't miss having the whole food around for you.
I'll tell you, though, going on the road with the Cavaliers, not that when the OCC days, we were treated well when we were in the OCC after a period of time. The early days, the OCC was tough. But as we became more regular with different schools, they would cater to our needs. They were very cordial hosts. And when we switched over to the SEOAL and the SCOL, it was the same thing. Because those communities had radio stations, and they knew what to expect, and they kind of rolled out the red carpet for you, all that kind of jazz, because they knew that we were putting their product on display in some fashion. They knew that we were coming with the opposition, but still, we want to treat these guys nice because they're going to talk nice about us. And when you talk about that, that comes to Miami Trace. Aaron Hammond had one of the best little-known secrets inside his office was a spread. So before a basketball game at Miami Trace, you could sneak in, get a meal, really nice. And the first year of the SCOL, there was a cooler sitting on our table. Open that cooler. Inside the cooler were candy bars and drinks and other sweets. And I'm like, man, this is going to be great. What a super association. That was the only year that happened I could remember.
Yeah.
So
I for tomorrow, I thought maybe, but then I don't know, we could be committing, Harry Carey on the air here if we tried to come up with who had the best hospitality room of any sporting event we ever went to.
yeah.
You think about that one. We may have to pass on that because we don't want to offend anyone that we leave out.
And I can't leave out our buddy Jan Detty.
Oh, yeah.
Who always took care of us with
Yeah.
new sandwiches when McDonald's would get something
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
She would bring them into the studios, and I can't tell you how many times she has given me a coupon to eat with.
Oh, yeah.
I have yet to use one of those coupons. I usually give them away to my Sunday school kids or
He's kind of
or
goofy that way.
athletes, that sort of thing. Yes, when I stop in at McDonald's, I'm usually spending my money to
Yeah.
get it. So
I
make
don't
sure you
want to.
stop
I don't want to
outside.
rob their blessing by the gift that they gave.
Well, they give you the gift, and you keep giving.
Giving.
the
It's
gift.
kind of like the people in the drive-through. They pay for you, and you're supposed
Precisely.
to return the favor behind you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Somewhere that ends. I don't know. There's nobody back there. Yeah.
There's always that curmudgeon that's just going, I'm not doing that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Really.
And have you done that? I mean, have you gone
Yes. And Lois, Coons, who's watching,
Yeah.
did that for me one time. I thought, well, that was nice, and then I realized who it was. So I passed it
Madeline
back.
Diggs, who was a Chillicothe tennis player, was sitting at the Western Avenue McDonald's in the drive-thru, just minding my business. And just like 2 or 3 days before, we had done the mock crash. The kids were, she was one of the kids that was in the mock crash. And so I'm sitting there just kind of minding my own business, daydreaming a little bit. Wait, she is paying for the meal in front. And I pull up to the next window, have my money ready to go, and they say, no worries, it's paid for. And I looked up and I see this hand waving at me through the mirror. A high school kid
How
bought
about
my lunch.
That's great.
And of course I said, well, let me pay back by paying for the person behind me and just kind of keeping that going.
That's
So,
good.
good things happen every day.
Yes, sir.
We try and focus on those. If you've got one to share with us, you can always send us like the email right there, littermedia@littercorp.com. You can send us a Facebook message here on our Facebook page as well. And that's how we do our part to help spread the good news and to keep that going. So tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow?
Nothing in the morning. Not till Friday morning for me, anyway.
For you. Well, actually, tomorrow morning we will have Dave Pinkerton from Advanced Services. He'll be here, not performing as Advanced Services. He might have the shirt on, but he'll be here as part of being the president of the Morning Rotary for the Chillicothe Rotary, First Capital Rotary. He and I believe Robin Burno will be with him to talk about their golf outing, which is coming up. Also tomorrow, as I mentioned, I've got the big deal in Great Seal. That'll be tomorrow afternoon at 1. And at 4 o'clock, we'll have 3 ladies in here from the Hope Clinic of Ross County to talk about the Kentucky Derby Party, which I'll be emceeing first Saturday in May.
Gotcha.
Busy day tomorrow. And we hope that you spend part of that with us here on another edition of Facebook Live.